People, I'm finally home. My goodness. That was a journey. Do you know what? Anytime you go in a car, train, bus, cab, bike, motorbike now, it's just traffic. You just get stuck. Train today, and it took forever. It really did. I wasn't able, I was trying to get home, rush home, but I wasn't able to do a fan cam at the ground, so I'm going to do one now. I'm home, I'm relaxed. It was a nice day. Got to sit, should I say, with hospitality judges today. Club level ticket, really beautiful, lovely experience. Sat with judges, and you know what? It was actually a really good experience. It was actually a really good time. It was a really good part of the stadium. I think a lot of people enjoy sitting at club level, and I can understand why. And if I'm honest with you, kind of took that as a huge positive for this season. I don't think there's really been much more to talk about. Look, the 3 points were brilliant. I didn't expect us to win today. I actually thought it would be a very difficult game for many reasons. I think Newcastle are a top team. I think Newcastle have got some elite players. I look at Gordon, I look at Bruno, I look at Tonali, I look at Isak. And my God, wasn't it noticeable that Isak was out today? If you look at the first half, if he's playing, I genuinely believe Newcastle are in a position where they could be at least one or maybe even 2 goals up. But David Raya was superb. Now, I'm not going to sit there and say that David Raya was superb with his feet today, but he certainly was in goal with his hands. I thought the saves were brilliant. I thought he put himself about. I thought he managed to work alongside the defence to keep the ball out the back of the net when required. But his distribution and his kicking a few times, not just in the first half, but particularly in the second half, was really poor today. Having said that, it's a clean sheet for Arsenal. Really good again defensively. Ben White playing again today. Timber definitely getting that well-needed break. Saliba, I thought at times today was very good. Kivior as well deserves a mention because I look at what Kivior's done consistently now, and he reminds me a little bit of the kind of defenders we used to have in the Highbury days, which just slotted in. They used to come in for 10, 15 games and they got a run and they just became consistent. Now, sometimes when you get your backup defenders that you need to call upon for 1 or 2 games, it can be a bit wrong. It can go a bit wrong. It can be a little bit error prone. For me, I think what Kivior's done now is have the best part of 6 to 8 weeks consistently in the team. And I think he's really done well. I think he's got better actually in that natural position. I look at him at left-sided centre-back. I'd be happy to keep him there at left-sided centre-back if he wanted to stay there. Yes, he is definitely a squad player. He's not getting ahead of Gabriel. But I just think he's deserved a bit of a mention now about how well he's been playing. Miles Lewis-Skelly today, I thought was very good going forward. I think he's got that kind of little bit of flair into his game now. He's expressing what he can do. He can show his skill and his quality on the ball. And I've been very, very impressed with how much confidence he's got. But also, he's just absolutely fearless. There's intent to drive forward the whole time. He's now turning on the ball. He's using his right foot as much as his left foot now. He's crossing. He's going up and down, overlapping. He's cutting inside. He's inverting. He really is everywhere. The athleticism of the kid is ridiculous. And I think for his age, I think he's been phenomenal for us. And I do see him as going to be one of the future stars in this Arsenal team. Then we move into midfield. Thomas Partey defensively is so good. We have to keep hold of Thomas Partey. We just have to. There's no excuse for me. It would be criminal if we was to lose him. It'd be absolute madness if we are not to see Thomas Partey in a position other than on the field at Arsenal with that number 6. I think he's absolutely outstanding. And although I've said that Declan Rice is a 6, I do believe Thomas Partey is better. And I think he is the best in that position and has been for quite some time. And I was thinking today, who is the last proper Patrick Vieira or Gilberto Silva type player that we've had at the Emirates era? Other than Thomas Partey, there hasn't really been one. Granit Xhaka tried to play there. Lucas Torreira tried to play there. Francis Coquelin tried to play there. Diaby got injured there. Denilson played there. We see Ramsey and Wilshere. They weren't really defensive midfielders. Song was probably the one who was the most consistent in that position that actually could play naturally in that position. But other than that, you have to look at Partey and Rice and say that they are actually the best two in that position since the likes of Gilberto and Vieira, which was decades ago now. So for me, I think we have to look at the consistency and the level of performance that Thomas Partey has put in an Arsenal shirt. I think it's been outstanding. I've got to mention Declan Rice because when he does drive forward, boy is he good. I'm not always sure that I'm a fan of him in that kind of attack 8. I think he's quite good in the physical attributes and the defensive side of his game. But he really is coming into his own in those positions, isn't he? And I think he's got a lot of people eating humble pie, including myself. And can he play that role up and down? Yeah, I think he's got the athleticism. I don't deny that he can't shoot or strike a football. And we've seen that again today. He was brilliant. It was an absolutely brilliant strike, to be fair. And Odegaard gets another assist finally. And do you know what? He was a bit better today, but still weren't great, Martin Odegaard. I've got to be honest with you. He's not a player at the moment I'm enjoying watching. And I just feel like there's glimpses that's proving that perhaps with a little bit of quality in front, he might be able to thread some more passes through that will count towards his assist. But I need to see him shoot more. There was a couple of chances that he did have. He actually shot once in the end that actually just went flying way over the bar for me. So we need to be seeing more there. Then I look at the front three. Saka, what he's doing, 40% fit, is quite incredible. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be slating him. I'm afraid. I just think the guy is ridiculously good. Like, I look at him and I think, how are you doing what you're doing? Nothing today I thought was magnificent. Nothing was poor. Everything is just, wow, how are you doing this? Like, for me, Bukayo Saka should be the guy that's on the beach now, thinking, crikey, I've tried to make it through Real Madrid. I couldn't really, but let's see what happens. And he's playing every game again. And he puts in 110%. And he don't look like the same player. He don't look like he's 100% fit. But I didn't expect him to be 100% fit. I've seen him playing way more games than I'm expecting. Martinelli and Trossard. Trossard, a few glimpses, a few bad passes, a few bad decisions. But I tell you what, Gabriel Martinelli is coming into his own. And I really like the way they're interchanging the left side and centre-forward positions. So he definitely deserves a mention today. I think what I'm a fan of about Martinelli is not just his desire and his passion and his drive. It's actually the way that he's getting himself into positions now, which is causing the defence a hell of a lot more of a threat. And I think he's always been quite of a threat down that left-hand side. And we saw even today that he can take on his man and beat him. But I just feel like in the middle, he gives defenders a little bit of a nightmare. And I've been crying out for Martinelli to play through the middle for quite some time, to be honest. It's not really been a position I've ever believed he can't play in. I've always wanted to see him in that position. I've always believed he could play in that position. And I just want to make it kind of known and clear now that there is an option there. And I think the manager has seen that. There's definitely something in the last couple of weeks that's allowed him to want to try Martinelli through the middle. We saw it against Liverpool. He got a great header. And we have seen it now today where he does kind of interchange quite well with Trossard. And I thought it was very good. And I keep seeing him linking up a little bit more with Saka when he does that. So for me, I think there's probably a need to try that a little bit more if Martinelli is to stay at the future of Arsenal Football Club. And I think we're going to see in the summer a bit of a toss of a coin about who is actually going to be leaving. One of those players is going to go, in my opinion, Trossard or Martinelli. They want to keep both at the club from what we understand, but I think one of them may go. If Saudi are interested in Trossard, maybe it's him. If somebody is interested in Martinelli, whether it's Saudi or another team in Europe, I think they may be looking at that as well. So for me, although I was very impressed with him today, Martinelli could be the casualty this summer if there is a bid to come in. But I would like to keep him. I think he's a really good player. I think he'd be a great squad player. And I'd like to see him with a striker and just see what that does to his game and how it brings him into play. Because even Marino up there was a little bit something different. And we saw him come into his own against Real Madrid. I thought he was one of our best players. And he got man of the match in a couple of other games recently as well, particularly against Liverpool. So for me, I'm a big fan. Let's hope that continues. Then we go to, of course, the front men that came on. Havertz coming on, Jorginho coming on, Tierney coming on. Of course, the latter two coming on for their last game. I just want to say, do you know what? Jorginho, fair play. He's come in at 12 million. He's done his job. He's been a very good squad player for us. He's allowed us to rotate. He's allowed us to bring some tempo into midfield, some balance into midfield. He's a great passer of the ball. But also what he's done is he's brought in a little bit of an experienced head. He's someone that's been there and done it, and he's won a lot in the game. And I think that's why it was a good signing in the end, really. I know we all wanted Caicedo, and it was very deflating and underwhelming. But for me, he's done his job. Then I look at the scenario with Kieran Tierney. For me, he's been a good Arsenal signing. People will laugh at it and say, why? Mikel Arteta doesn't fancy him. Does it mean he's a bad player? Absolutely not. Does it mean that he's not going to go and have a good career somewhere else? I absolutely hope he does. For me, he's been one of my favourite players in the last few years, just for the pure fact that he's professional. He's everything that I want in a footballer. He gives 110%. He's got winning mentality. And when you come from Scotland and you win, it's up there and it's built in you. And for me, when you go to one of those teams, you have to win at Rangers or Celtic. It's none of this coming second, still good. So for me, I'm really impressed with that, and I think that deserves a mention. Kieran Tierney's been very, very good. So I look at the scenario there, and I think, yeah, do you know what? Those two deserved the game time there. Thomas Partey, we don't know what's happening. There's a question mark there, but hopefully he stays at the club and he's offered a new deal. And Kai Havertz today, to be fair, chased everything down, had a few options, couple of wayward passes. Does like to roll around on the floor a bit too much for my liking personally, but I can appreciate that he's come on into the team and he'll get a nice summer break now. Look, we needed to win today. We got the goal. It was a very good goal from Rice. We ended up winning. And then we go into the Southampton game now, just basically knowing that we're confirmed in the Champions League and that we can pretty much continue to get second place unless there's a disaster that happens, and I think it's pretty much impossible now. So look, it's probably going to be second again, Alea as they all sing for us. That isn't good enough, and it's now time to deliver. And that moves me on nicely to the end of season speech from Mikel Arteta. Of course, he congratulated us. He said it wasn't good, that we were all disappointed we got second. We all knew that was going to be the case. He said we've got to keep believing that the dream will happen one day. But what I didn't like about it was the fact that he basically made a dig again, saying that if it was anybody else or any other club, they wouldn't be in the position that we're in, and they'd be with a position we don't even want to dream or think about. That to me is extremely arrogant again, I've got to be honest with you, and it's not something that I look at and think, wow. I don't look at Arsenal Football Club this season and go, how the hell has that team got second? They should be down in 12th. I just don't look at it like that, and I think what Mikel Arteta's doing there is he's basically slating his squad players. So look, maybe I've heard it wrong. Maybe he didn't mean it like that. Maybe he was trying to big up the team for what they've done. But from what I heard, I thought it was pretty poor, and it left a little bit of a shitty taste in my mouth, if I'm honest. So look, we all know what we've got to do. We've got to deliver now. Time to deliver. Talking about players first, talking about transfer window, then we go and deliver the trophy next season, because there's no more time. Paul Merson has come out on Sky Sports News and said he's got till Christmas. He has to win something. Gary Neville on his podcast today says Arsenal must win trophies next season. But everybody was saying this last year, people. Nothing has changed. The reason it's changed is because they're now potentially looking at injuries as a crisis, as an excuse. Players transfers as an excuse. Well, do you know what? There needs to be no more excuse at Arsenal Football Club. Arsenal need to deliver. And I just felt it was a little bit of a bad taste that was left in my mouth by him trying to big up this season basically and say congratulations, what the staff and players and fans have all done is incredible. There's no achievement, it's been failure, and that's the way it is. So next season, time to deliver. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one, people.